Hello, everyone. This is Naina Kaputi, and today we're going to be talking about clarity on your power, purpose, and potential. Because this is the month of February. Last month, I did a live stream on your goals, vision board, and finding the word of the year. And this month, I thought the next step would be really understanding what is your superpower. So I have some notes, so I'll be switching back and forth between my notes and going live because I can talk endlessly about this topic, but I have to also make sure I don't leave out any important points. This is only the second time I'm going live directly on YouTube. And I had a fantastic experience last week and decided why not do it again. All right. So the first thing, so we're talking about clarity on your power. Let's start with that. So your power is really your superpower. It's your zone of genius. It's your North Star, it's your unique edge or distinctive edge. It's something that sets you apart from everyone else, that gives you that distinction that is innate to you. We all have unique strengths, we all have unique expertise. Sometimes we haven't discovered it yet. And today I want to talk about that and help you discover it. Or if you've discovered it, I want you to share what it is. So let me start by giving you a little bit of a definition of, and I will refer to my notes at this point. Someday I'll have a teleprompter and I won't have to look back and forth, but right now I have to look at my notes and just read out the definition that I put together. But if I want to say it correctly, so it's really your power is your innate strengths, skills, and experience that set you apart. We all have are born with some kind of superpower. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me that you're very good with people, you're very good at giving advice, maybe you should be a psychologist or psychiatrist or counselor. I i i I was excited about what she had to share, but I didn't really put that into practice till after I moved to the US 23 years ago. And I slowly started realizing that I did enjoy helping people, helping them share their stories, elevating them. So that's really, I would say, my superpower. And, I've niched down. It's not just any woman, it's women living abroad. And I niched it down even further. It's women who are looking to showcase their expertise and their superpowers. So helping them get clarity on it and then also helping them showcase it to the world. If you're joining me live, let me know in the chat. Have you discovered your superpower? You can say yes or no, and if you want, you can share what that is. So it's exciting to always know what other people's superpowers are. And I didn't discover it initially. I think mothers really know us best. Our parents really know us. And my mom did share this with me. But when you're a kid, who pays attention to all this? I did consider becoming a psychiatrist, but I would have had to go to medical school, and I didn't want to put in all that effort and energy. And in those days, counseling or being a therapist, they weren't so popular. My dad wanted me to be an engineer or doctor, and I knew that I didn't want to be either. So at least I knew those were not my superpowers. Those were things that didn't excite me, and I resisted. I told him I'm not interested either. But since I wasn't clear on what I wanted to do, I took science, and for a while I was in that field. I did my master's and specialized in microbiology, biotechnology. Then I worked in that field. Then I studied film. Then I did a couple of films. I worked in the nonprofit field, and then I started the Expat Woman. And that's when I feel I really came into my power. That's when, and even initially when I started the Expat Woman, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the expat woman. I had created it more as a resource site for other women who had moved abroad to help them find connections, to make friends, to help them navigate life in the US. So I had still not got clarity on what my superpower is. And my superpower is really helping women who have moved abroad find connections, collaborate, and then help them showcase their expertise once they've discovered it, give them the tools, the opportunities, the resources to elevate their expertise so they can create impact and influence, and then they in turn can inspire others. So that's it. Took me a long time to discover it, and it's constantly being refined. When I initially started the expat woman, I was focused on all women moving abroad, and then I realized I really was wanting to focus on women who were like me, who wanted to use their, wanted to navigate life abroad, but in the professional area. Of course, personal is equally important, but professionally, we wanted to find our voices. We wanted to stand out. We wanted to find careers that really light us up, that we're excited about. And that's where the zone of genius or your superpower comes in. You want to do work that lights you up, that's exciting, that makes you happy, that you wake up in the morning, ready to go, to make a difference, to do the work. And it's not always easy. When you move to another country, sometimes financially you have to just take a job to pay the bills, but it's something to think about and develop. And also in the job you do, are you able to use those unique strengths even if it's not your main job role? For instance, if I was working for a company, if I had to work for a company, I would maybe look at a job like being an employee resource group manager, or community manager, someone who hosts events, because I love bringing people together. And as I've said before, elevating people, especially women, and women of course who've lived in another country. So something around that, or maybe global mobility managers. So again, you have to you might, maybe in the company you're working for, if you're working for a company, it's important to figure out what really lights you up and then try and move into that field. So if you haven't discovered what your zone of genius is, what your superpower is, maybe you can, or not maybe, my advice for you is that you take a step back. Maybe ask people, your friends, your colleagues, your peers, what is something that I talk about a lot? What do you think is something that's unique to me, that makes me stand out? Ask them that. Think about books you read, podcasts you listen to, events you go to online or in person. What attracts you to those events, those books, those podcasts, or maybe even YouTube videos, or even people? Who are the people that you like to connect with? Who are the people when you talk to that really, you feel very inspired after speaking with them? I run the Expat Woman membership, and my community inside the membership, it's a small but intimate group of, not intimate, it's a small but mighty group. Yes, it's intimate because we all know each other. But the women in my group really light me up because they are on similar paths to me, or they're starting their journey to building their expertise, their thought leadership, showcasing it with the world. So I would encourage you to do that. Again, if you're just joining me, welcome. If you know what your superpower is, if you have a question, let me know in the chat, and also maybe introduce yourself and let me know where you're calling in from. And I realized I haven't introduced myself. I always assume everyone who joins me live or watches this replay knows about me, but maybe I'll quickly introduce myself since we've started this, and since I'm talking about my zone of genius, my superpower. I think I also need to give you some backstory. So I moved to the US almost 23 years ago. I came to New York to study film, and I wanted at that point to do film because I wanted to do something creative. After being in the field of science and biotech and labs, etc., I realized that was not for me. I'm a people's person. I can't be stuck in a lab. And film was a medium for me to connect with people, showcase stuff, showcase my interests, create awareness, etc. So I studied film, but then I also met my husband, who's a San Franciscan native, and so I landed up living in the US. So I say I came here to study film, and then I stayed for love, not lunch, stayed for love. So I'm an accidental expat, and it's because of the challenges and pain that I face that led me to start the expat woman, because I was trying to find a community of like-minded women who had moved here to connect with. Because when I lived in New York, when I was studying there, I lived in the Y, in the dorm, where a lot of the women were from other countries, and we were navigating New York together, the subways, how to use the laundry, the not washing machine, the um right now my mind's drawing a blank, but the dryer. Yeah, the washing machine, I'm mixing up with the dishwasher. That's what happens when you go live at 9 a.m. on a cold rainy morning in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that's what led me to start the Expat Woman. And it's been a wonderful journey. Of course, running a business, running an organization is not easy. Okay, I see some people who joined me in the comments. Isabel has joined me from Poland, Julie from Germany, Colette is in Germany too. So wonderful, ladies. Do you want to share? Do you know what your superpower is? What lights you up? Go ahead and share in the chat. Okay, so and I feel very often, we when we move, especially when we move to another country, right? You're so busy trying to navigate that country. If you have kids, you're trying to find schooling for them. You're trying to find a job. You're trying to figure out the culture, how to find a house, how get a car, all those things. And then finding your superpower, very often you lose sight of it, and then you sometimes get stuck in a job you don't want, or in a career you don't like. When I moved to the US, one of the first things people would ask me is, what do you do? And I realized that was my identity, more than where you from, tell me more about your country. And so I was so desperate to get a job that I took the first job that came my way. And the initial jobs that I took, I wasn't happy with them, and it added more to my confusion and chaos in my head, because I was doing things that didn't light me up, that I hated, that made me unhappy. And even before I moved to the US, because as I said, to please my dad, I studied, I didn't do engineering or medicine, but I went to the science field, and I hated my job because I didn't want to work in a lab, right? So, yeah, so that's kind of the backstory of how I started the Expat Woman, and why I think it's so important for women living abroad to really find their power, their potential, their purpose. And maybe you find it, but then how do you translate that power into something bigger? But before that, I'm going to go back to my notes and read about the zone of genius and a little bit more about the power, the purpose, and the potential. So your power is your foundation. It's your innate strengths, skills, and experiences, right? Before you can define your purpose or unlock your potential, you need to know what your power is. Because if you don't know what that power is, and then you're following a different purpose which doesn't align with your strengths, doesn't align with your core values, you're going to be unhappy, and you're not going to be able to give it your all, your best. So Colette says, to declare my superpower initially made me very uncomfortable, like I'm bragging. But the more I think about it, the more I embrace it. So thanks for this. Yes, and maybe this is a very American thing. I've been in the US for so long now, like 20, almost 23 years. And when I was growing up in India, studying there, working there, you don't really talk about your strengths. I mean, except maybe at an interview, because it is considered bragging. It's considered showing off. It's more like a group mentality. Even at interviews, you always say, we did this, when you're in a team meeting. But I do see power and beauty in the way the US, there is this individualistic society, and you can still use your individualism and your strengths to help others. So I did find my voice. I did get clarity on my power after moving to the US. And I realized, if you don't talk about your power, if you don't share it, if you don't showcase it, people who could benefit from it will not be able to. So I know, for instance, Colette, she says her superpower is to connect with people so they're comfortable sharing intimate information, compassionate. And I know, Colette, you also work with women. Your strength is also working with women who are premenopausal, menopausal. You're creating awareness about that, so you're helping them feel comfortable talking about something that for many people is very personal, maybe taboo in the countries they live in. But if you didn't do that, if you didn't share that you were your expertise lay in this area, the women who could benefit from it, who are feeling alone because they're going through menopause or not knowing how to deal with it, would not benefit. So you're not only doing a disservice to yourself by not showcasing your expertise, your superpower, but also doing a disservice to folks that can benefit from it. So if you're just saying, and now there's the ways to showcase your superpower. If you just say, I want this, I did this, I did this. But since I'm also a LinkedIn coach, part of what I teach people is when you showcase your expertise, use through content, or not every piece of content should be buy from me, I'm so amazing, I got all these wins, these are my successes. You also want to add value. You want to use your power to add value, because I think that's very important as well, that we want to create impact and influence. Money is important, but creating impact and influence gives us so much satisfaction. uh, and so Bianca says, yeah, she's focusing on HR consulting, but her passion is helping introverts with social anxiety, which is amazing. Again, very niche down, just like Colette, because introverts again are a group of people that many people don't realize that there are people who might want to be part of something, or even be part of the expat women membership, but maybe they feel too shy or too scared, don't feel comfortable being part of a group. And then someone like Bianca helps them b- build that confidence, right? So it's really, again, Bianca, if she didn't share her superpower, and I see her also on LinkedIn sharing that she works with introverts, those people would not benefit. And Julie says her superpower is connecting people to themselves through coaching and in consulting, and others through matchmaking in a non-romantic way, which is a great, again, a great power to have. And I'm reading a similar thread. All of you, your power is bringing people together, connecting them, helping them feel comfortable. And I think that's why all of you join the Expat Women membership, because you believe in community, in connections, in collaboration, in helping people feel comfortable and safe. And I love having all of you in the membership. And look, you all showed up today to support me with this live, to be part of it, in the conversation, in the chat. And for those who are watching the replay, I will share a link to the Expat Woman membership in the comments and in the description of this video, so you can be part of this really amazing community, because I learned so much from my members, and I know you learn from each other. And also, if you haven't subscribed to this Expat Woman YouTube channel, do hit the subscribe button and share. If you're watching the replay, share in the comments what your superpower is, what your purpose is, what your potential is, and do like it. Okay, and Isabel says, my superpower is partnering, connecting with people, and work with the unconscious mind. So she's a Jungian coach. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Unfortunately, I can't bring you up on stage, but her focus is again very niche to what she does through her coaching. Yeah. So with that, I wanted to talk about yeah. So my as I said before, my power is building community, bringing women who are moving abroad together, storytelling through my content on social media, YouTube channel, my blogs, when I host events and workshops and master classes, and helping other women get visibility, because that has always been my goal. When I started the Expat Woman, I would host events, and my panelists or speakers were always women living abroad who had achieved success, were leaders breaking glass ceilings, or they were aspiring leaders, because I wanted to shine the spotlight on them, not just to help them build their visibility, but also to inspire other women who would see them in the panel, hear their accents, or maybe they were of different ethnicities and feel like if they can do it, I can do it. And now I do the same with members inside the Expat Women membership. I spotlight them. We do a lot of collaborative projects together where I showcase them. And the reason why I focus on mainly on the members of the Expat Women membership is because I have over 50,000 followers, subscribers on the various social media channels and newsletters, and it's too big a number to be able to provide visibility for everyone. So I my focus is mainly on my members. Okay, so Judy says she's loving all these explanations. Yeah, and it's great to read everyone's superpowers. So before I go a little more into the power, what is your purpose? What is the purpose? So once you understand your purpose, you can define your why. Purpose is about how you use your power to create impact. It gives meaning and direction to your strengths, to your distinctive edge. And I think all of you very clearly shared here, what your power was, but also what you do with your power, your purpose, right? So, but if you want to add anything else to your purpose in the chat or in the comments, if you're watching this later, go ahead. So my purpose is I use my strengths, which is collaboration, community, visibility building, to storytelling to help expat women in turn collaborate, build community, and get seen, get known, get heard, so they get new opportunities and achieve more success in their careers, which would then lead to more success in their life. And finally, potential. Potential is when you, excuse me, potential is when you align your power with your purpose, you unlock your full potential. This is about scaling your impact, stepping into leadership, and fully realizing what's possible for you. So you might have your power, you might be very excited about it, but you first need to know why. What should I do with that power? And then how should I use that power to showcase it? And it's not showing off, it's not bragging, it's adding value and helping somebody else while also helping yourself. Okay, so my potential is I build visibility, I create community, I inspire and empower women living abroad through my events, my membership, my coaching. I'm also a LinkedIn coach, and with LinkedIn coaching or with these YouTube videos that I do, or within my membership or my master classes or webinars, it's always focused on helping women build that confidence so they can put themselves out there, and providing them with strategies, opportunities, and platforms to do so. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the Gay Hendricks, who wrote the book The Big Leap. Okay, and he came up with this term, the zone of genius. Okay, so, but before the zone of genius, he said you need to understand the other zones. So the first zone is the zone of competence. You have the necessary skills and can get the job done, but so can anyone else. So maybe you're good at creating Canva images, but now with so many of us, like me included, before I use my VA sometimes, with very often I create a Canva image myself because it's so easy now. So a lot of people are now able to do it. Before Canva came along in the old days when you had to use Photoshop, it was much harder. You needed those skills. Now every other person can do it. The same thing with creating content. A lot of people now use AI tools to create content, and then hopefully they personalize it. But maybe there are some people who are really good at it. It is their zone of genius. They can just create the most compelling, powerful content. Or maybe the same with images, they can create really powerful images. But for some of us, it may not be our zone of competence. uh, Oh, and before that, actually, I skipped one. Before the competence is the zone of incompetence. You're working on something that you do not understand, you don't enjoy, you don't have the skills for. For instance, I don't like bookkeeping, I don't like anything with accounting, numbers, organizing. Those are not my skills. So if I had a job in an accounting firm, or even working in a lab, I did work in a lab for a while, I do not like stuff like that. I'm just doing the job, but I'm hating it. I'm looking at my watch, waiting for when the time will be up. So that is the zone of competence. Julie said, I'm currently using my superpower and supporting the spouses of expats to China by helping them to find their place, purpose, and passion in China. Fantastic. So that is your purpose, Julie. you're using your superpower to do that. And then the next would be your potential, right? But we'll come to that later. So the after the zone of competence is the zone of excellence. You're doing something you're extremely good at compared to most other people. So you're pretty good at it. But Gay Hendrick says the zone of excellence is dangerous because it's where most of us tend to spend our time. Okay. He describes you're stuck in a rut or comfortably numb because maybe the zone of excellence is you're really good at the work, but the work doesn't really light you up. It doesn't make you feel fulfilled, and it's not really tapping into your expertise, your strengths, your unique genius. So many of us think, oh, I'm so good at this, I'm going to keep doing this job because it's comfortable. Maybe it's you don't have to step out of your comfort zone. It's just something you can keep doing, and then you'll retire doing it, and then maybe you look back and have regrets on why did I not do something more? Why didn't I really push myself to use my skills, right? Many of us have dreams, and sometimes it requires strength and courage to step out of that zone of excellence to go into your zone of genius. And but I think the advantage that many of us have as expat women is because we've already stepped out of our comfort zone by moving abroad. We force no matter how the journey to the country we've moved to, we have to be resilient. We're constantly facing challenges and hurdles. Very often we are on our own. Maybe even if you are with your partner or spouse, you still have to figure out certain things on your own. You don't have family or friends, and maybe that gives us the courage to then step out of our comfort zone, out of our zone of excellence or competence or incompetence, to become to to, to step into our power, to step into our zone of genius. So the zone of genius is you're doing the things you're innately good at, you really love, and do work that is unique. This gives you an unfair advantage because you're so good at it. It comes so easily and naturally to you. It gives you the advantage and helps you stand out from the competition. And from what everyone has shared here, I really believe that all of you have found your zone of genius. I know you all love your work. I know you're good at it. And I think that's the important thing. Okay. When you recognize your power, you gain confidence in your abilities. It's so much easier to put yourself out there because you're comfortable with what you do and you love what you do, right? And then you'll find those opportunities that align with your strengths. So let me talk about the purpose. If you haven't found your purposes yet, it's similar to the power, but it's ask yourself the big question: what excites me? What do I want to change? What change do I want to see in the world? How do I want to be remembered? Right? When people think of you, how do you want them to remember you? Okay. So look for patterns in your passions. It's similar again to the zone of genius, your power. What activities make you lose track of time? What topics do you always find yourself talking about? Your passions often point towards your purpose, and you want to align your purpose with your strength. Okay, so your your zone of genius, your power should align with your purpose. Okay, your purpose may involve teaching, coaching, speaking at workshops, webinars, hosting events, working in a specific department at a company. Okay, and you want to start small. If you haven't yet got clarity on your purpose, but you know your power, start small. Maybe start volunteering. For instance, I know Julie is looking to showcase her expertise through YouTube because she wants to reach spouses in China and help them, right? So she's starting small with doing maybe a YouTube channel a week or a month and going really slow. So start trying it out and just do it. Don't second guess it. Okay, your purpose is to help. So, my purpose is to help expat women own their brilliance, build meaningful connections, and achieve success abroad. Okay. So, that is your purpose. And finally, showcasing your potential. This is my favorite topic because this is what I constantly do. And this was not easy for me, right? It's putting yourself out there. How do you showcase your power and create your impact through your purpose with your potential, right? The first thing you need to do is your personal brand. What will people say about you, or what do people say about you when you're not in the room? That's why it's so important to define that your power, what you stand for, your expertise. There are people are always chasing the next shiny objects. I see it on LinkedIn all the time. I'm sorry, my screen is so shaky because my cat just climbed up on this table. He's behind the screen. I hope he's going to knock down. So you might have tech issues or you have animal issues, right? So if I push him down, he might push the laptop. So I'm going to hold on to my laptop. But yeah, so I see people on LinkedIn or people who host events, like today they're doing one thing, then they see the next shiny object, and then they're onto that shiny object, and then they're onto third shiny object. Don't get distracted by all the noise out there. Now, I do different events. I did do a women in AI event, but again, I stayed true to my power and my purpose, which was showcasing expat women working in AI and providing women in my community to learn about artificial intelligence. So empowering them, right? So that's, I didn't stray away from what my power was, my zone of genius. So, so yeah, build your personal brand, start creating content. Once you know your power and your why, it's so much easier to create content. You also have to keep in mind who are the people that I want to impact. That's also very important, that you know who you're speaking to. So that's the other thing that you have to keep in mind when you're showcasing your and that's why you want to network with the right people. Find out what you're comfortable doing. As I said before, initially I was not comfortable showing up live on video, even not live, even recording videos. Like I remember it really happened during the pandemic because I was forced to step out of my comfort zone to create videos. And the first video I did, I was so nervous. My like legs were so shaky. I just wanted to get up and leave. And it has gotten easier. So you have to give yourself grace, go slow, you know, be prepared to fail. And I always use the quote by again, my mind is, see, and my mind also goes blank sometimes when I'm do Nelson Mandela. He says, I never lose, I either win or I learn. So that's what you need to do when you start showcasing your potential. So think about, what are you most comfortable with? Where is your target audience? Right, for me, I focus on LinkedIn and now YouTube, and of course I have an email and newsletter. But I cannot be on every platform right now, and I don't like Instagram much. I just don't like seeing everyone's happy, wonderful lives. I feel people are not very authentic on Instagram. They're just showing all the good sides of their life, and I want more authenticity. I find LinkedIn has become a more authentic platform, and then YouTube. Okay, my cat got off, so hopefully, I'm sorry if anyone who saw this very shaky screen. My cat just jumped off the desk. Okay, so that's, yeah. And then also learning and growing and investing in yourself. I think that's the final thing with your potential, like learning new stuff, like learning how to use AI, but not using it in a in an ineffective way, or like you're another bot, right? That could be something. So keeping abreast, so you can constantly hone your power, your skills, your strengths, and learn how to showcase your expertise. Yeah, so Bianca said there's too many platforms these days, hard to decide which one is best. It's trial and error. I would say, think about which platform do you enjoy using, and which platform is your target audience on. I think if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or even if you work for a company, you think, where do people who would be interested in my services, who I can speak to, who can build my network, are on. And then of course with YouTube, you can reach that audience, because YouTube is the biggest search engine. I'm just giving you the examples of why I use these. But so that's basically your purpose, your power, and your potential. Your potential is what's possible for you, and it's limitless, right? It could be, so just start small. Maybe you want to be a speaker, maybe you want to create content on social media, maybe you want to do workshops, maybe you want to do trainings. But it is about showcasing that, and it's not showing off. It's creating impact. It's building your knowledge. You just need to know 10% more than the people that you're showcasing your expertise with. Anyone want to share any last minute thoughts? And I see Julie said something here. She said, moving abroad stretches. You never thought about how that could automatically bring us closer to our zone of genius. It does, because I think we dig deeper. I see so many expat women really have come into their own when they move abroad, including are members of the expat women membership. I know Isabel was a lawyer and now she's a Jungian coach. Bianca used to work in HR. Now she's teaching introverts, how to uh, get over their fears and etc. Bianca, I'm not clearly saying everything that you do, but and me, like with a background in biotech and then film and then doing this. So it's just, yes, I think it pushes us out of our comfort zone to see the light, and I think that's so important. And I'm hoping that people who watch this live or later will be inspired to find their power, their potential, their purpose, and showcase it to the world. Yeah, so Isabel asked me, could you repeat about 10%? So many of us suffer from imposter syndrome. We feel we are not good enough, we are not knowledgeable enough to showcase our expertise. So we don't do it. We just keep it inside. The studies have shown that to be a successful speaker, trainer, coach, besides, of course, being passionate and having the strengths in that topic, you just need to know 10% more than the people you're training or speaking to or sharing your content with. You don't need to be an expert, right? Because I think maybe it was Julie or somebody at our membership meeting who said how she didn't feel she was the expert yet. That's self doubt or imposter syndrome speaking. You just need to know 10%, and you can even like research that 10%. But if you're passionate and excited about it, I think that's the core. If you ask me again to speak about accounting or bookkeeping, and even you paid me thousands of dollars, I would not. I would not, want to do it because it doesn't excite me. Or talk about biotechnology. Those things don't excite me. I did it for a while, but it doesn't make me happy. Yeah. So, yeah. So that is today's topic. Yeah. Isabel says her expat curse was being overqualified but not having local credentials. And I know that a lot of expats have that issue where, they don't have the local testimonials or the degrees. But I think hopefully with this more global world, with everything being remote and hybrid, things will change. Yeah. So with and Also Bianca said yes, women will apply for jobs even only if they meet 100% of the requirements, but men will apply even if it's only a small percentage. And that's also another important thing. Many of us women feel very conscious about showcasing our potential, talking about our expertise, feeling like we are frauds. And I will, in a future episode, cover imposter syndrome and self-doubt and how you can overcome that. Because again, if you find your power but you're afraid to put it out there, not sure how to put it out there, very often it's because that little voice in your head is telling you you don't deserve to share it with the world, you're not good enough, you're a fraud. What if you do something and you make a mistake or make a fool of yourself, right? Yeah, so that is today's topic. Thank you so much for watching me. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so. Let's continue the conversation in the comments, and do like it, please, especially the women who are watching online. And the more like buttons, the more people can see it. And hopefully this has inspired you to find your power, and not just your power, but also your purpose, and then figuring out strategies to share that power, that expertise with your target audience, with the world. Does anyone have any questions before I end? If I don't see any questions, we'll talk about it next week. Inside the membership, I am hosting the Zone of Genius Masterclass. It's free for members. I'll share the link here for those who are not members if they want to join it. And we will be delving more into this, and then we can have even deeper conversations. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.